and welcome to our female entrepreneur interview series. We're happy joining you here today, live from my cottage up on Georgian Bay near Penetang. I do have a fabulous lady joining us, and I'll get to her in just a minute. So she could give her some time to connect her live up to her cell phone. So Wallet to Wealth. So Samantha is coming to us today to speak to us at Wallet to Wealth. And Wallet to Wealth is a brand that I created for women to inspire them, engage them, and really help raise them up. And it's actually a non-for-profit that I put together about a year and a half ago so that we could raise money for Halton Women's Place. Last year, we had our inaugural dinner event or annual dinner event in November where we raised $15,000 for Halton Women's Place. And prior to that, we did 6 live events. So we had 7 live events last year with great speakers. And this year we're stuck inside. So right now we're doing some interview series, but we will have Wallet to Wealth will run again in November. It just looks like we might have to do it online. So it seems to be the way today, and that's okay. So anyhow, Samantha Glass, I know many of you already know her, and I love her title. She's a social justice warrior. She owns SFG Paralegal Services. And darn it, I left my email on. I apologize for that. I'll fix that in a minute. And she is a paralegal, and her desire is to have the largest paralegal firm in Ontario. So let's help her do that. And I'm certainly happy to do that. There are some things that propelled Samantha into her business, and she's going to talk to us about that today, because I find that the most passionate and successful business owners are the ones who have a story, and these stories are endless. And I love Samantha's story, and I did find her. She floated through my social media, and I just love this because I never would have met her anyway. So please help us welcome Samantha Glass, and I do have 3 distinct questions for you, so welcome.
Thank you so much for having me. I greatly appreciate. Thank you to all the viewers. This is so exciting, and I love to share my story because, hey, I can inspire you. Even if one person gets inspired, you know, that I've done my job for today. And I love these interviews because, you know, I learned so much from watching your interviews. So thank you for doing the series.
Oh yeah, this is how we get to know you. So recently we've been talking about intergenerational trauma, and some people have it in the reverse. And in your situation, you were very inspired by your parents. But in society or anywhere with intergenerational, have you experienced some trauma that gave you some limiting beliefs that propelled you into this career?
So my family was amazing. They are amazing. But I mean, I think of things from, you know, the society used to believe, and there's still a little bit of it left, that women may not be able to do some professions. And I remember before I got into the legal business, I was in the construction business. Like, this is way before. And I wanted to be in the trades. I wanted to be a plumber. I used to work in construction doing demolition. And I loved it because I got to, you know, lift, basically I was calling it lifting weights, but it wasn't that. It was, you know, moving around, being physical, and that was important to me. And I remember applying for a job. I mean, I usually go by the name Sam, but in my professional life here as a paralegal, people call me Samantha. And, you know, I was young, and one of my mentors at that time said to me, you know, you should apply for the job, like apply for these trades, see if you can get an apprenticeship, because that's where it starts as a plumber. And I did apply for a job. And when they found out that I was a girl, they declined me. They told me, oh, well, we thought you were a guy. That's why we brought you in to begin with. And it's because I went by the name Sam. I was young. I didn't realize, oh, well, you have to put your full name on a resume. It was, you know, I just didn't think it mattered because trades are so laid back that it shouldn't have mattered. So at that time, you know, I looked at that as a negative, and I thought to myself, okay, maybe this is not the way I want to go. Maybe this is not, if this is how women are treated in these fields, I don't want to be a part of it. And it just shut me down. It limited my beliefs to the point where I thought I couldn't do certain things. I mean, I gave it up. I'll be honest with you. I gave it up because I just didn't want to fight for the right as a woman to try to be in a profession that anybody should be in.
Yeah.
So that's what limited me back then. But I have to tell you, my mindset has completely changed now. So
yeah, which that leads to the next question: is the adversity that you experienced, that's actually given you a terrific advantage to propel into what you're doing. So tell us about being aligned now. Like when I speak to you, I can tell that you're aligned, like you are doing what you were called to do. And I like sharing these stories because I want to give other ladies and gentlemen, but I want to give people hope to realize that you just don't get your niche right away. Like we get a little bit of a dark tunnel before we get to it. So don't give up. So tell us about that.
Yeah, definitely. So after I did construction, and after that situation happened to me, I then go into a space where I'm working in human resources. I went to school for human resources, and I was working within a retail environment. And I just really didn't like it. I was there was discrimination there as well. My son was ill, and I would have to leave to take him to the hospital. And even there, I was told, why do you have to do that? Why can't someone else do that? Oh, is he really sick? Like, I was questioned about it. So I've actually faced a lot of discrimination in my life, maybe not, a little bit direct, but some things to my family. And, I didn't realize it at the time, but now 10 years later, like I shouldn't say 10 years later, but when I got into my career of becoming a paralegal, I've been able to see now that, I came into the career doing landlord and tenant and representing landlords. And I thought, okay, I'm still missing something. And then when I looked back, I thought, there's a lot of discrimination. Who's helping people that are discriminated, whether it's male, female, the LGBTQ community, someone with an invisible disability? Who's assisting these people? And so I started looking at the programs around, and the programs were limited. And I said, I have to be that person. I need to find a way to assist people that face discrimination. And I'm a paralegal. So paralegals are those access to justice individuals. And I'm a warrior to fight for people's rights. So I must open up this realm and help people like this. So being discriminated against, actually, it did propel me into a space of finding my passion for human rights. I'm already passionate about the law, but I'm extra passionate about human rights because I can make such a large impact on people's lives, where before they were trying to deal with these issues on their own or not doing anything at all. So that goes back to, this, I see a lot of issues where there's the discrimination based on invisible disability, where employers or landlords or others don't believe the person. I've seen it where there's been women who have been pregnant and discriminated. Oh, you're pregnant, so you must have to leave. You must have to quit the job. There's just so much discrimination out there. But I'm so passionate about it that I'm finding ways to not only represent people, but educate them so that if they recognize that there's an issue, they might be able to deal with that person directly as opposed to bringing litigation. So I always try to paint a well-rounded picture for people. And I work with, there's actually some of your viewers, Judy Burton, she's one individual that, I've seen some amazing things that she's done in the mental health sector, as well as others that are some of your viewers that, I'm so proud to know these people because they're fighting for the same thing I'm fighting for, just in a different way. So yeah, it's so exciting to see that.
It makes us such a better world, when we accept each other and allow talents to come out. And I mean, I can't believe that, somebody would say to you, like, can't somebody else take your son to the hospital? Like, it's just, yes, we are the moms and a lot of things do fall on us, but also, like, we're super women. We can do these things. We can work and raise children and take care of properties. We can become wealthy. I love my next question of your building, but I do see a question that's come up here. So I'm on the live feed. So it says, if you didn't face all that sexist discrimination that you, would you still have the same why behind your work? So would you be as passionate if you hadn't had to, fight for your rights?
Yes, I would. I have to say that when I thought of the idea of being a paralegal, I saw the gap, right? So it wasn't, it was only later on in my career that I got super passionate about human rights. I never started off with that. But I have to say that why I got into this business is because of the gap between someone being able to afford a lawyer, someone getting legal aid, and then there's those people that have to represent themselves. And so I'm that individual in that profession that can help. Basically, I do everybody law, right, within a defined scope. So I was actually providing pro bono services to women's shelters. That's how I started out. I was doing that. I was helping, I have a not-for-profit now called the York Region Paralegal Network that I created, where we do legal seminars and offer legal clinics as a add-on to something for my community that's outside of my firm. So I've always been passionate about access to justice and finding ways to offer those services to those in need. And then obviously my business, they work with different clientele and we still make a living. So I found that balance. A lot of people, they can't find the balance. It's either, okay, I'll give away everything for free, or I'm overcharging and I'm not helping everybody. So I've been able to create those two streams where I have the ability to help everyone. And then I have the ability to also make money. And I've learned about my value, right? I used to think, this service should be free, but you have to make money. If you don't make money, how can you help others? And that's what I'm learning, that we have a right to make money.
Yes, that's it. Right? Say that again. Say that again, because a lot of women don't know that.
Yeah. We have the right to make money. And I have to tell you, it's something that I, without going to veering off too far, it's something I teach every single night. Like I have a program that I have with my two partners, and we teach about personal development, personal growth, and mindset. And this is the thing we talk about. You have a right to be rich. You have a right to make money and value yourself. And you could still find that other way to help people pro bono. Just find the balance, but don't give up, because if you can't make any money, you can't help anybody, right? Yeah. You have to survive.
I love that. I mean, you are a person that we should all follow, because at some point in our life that unfortunately, we always need some legal help. Something always pops up, and having somebody like you who's so experienced and who's so passionate. You're like me. I'll do things for a huge amount of money, and I'll do things for absolutely no money, because it's the end result. And it all works up at the end of the day. We're not going broke, so it's okay. So this just leads into the next question. I think it's fascinating. So tell us about your business that you built, like your service that you offer and the different outlets that you have. And I do see on your website that you serve a lot of communities. So you are widespread.
Yes. So let me just tell you, I'll tell you just very quickly how I started. So I actually, while I was working that job, the human resources job, and I had my son Owen, who was newborn at the time, I was working 4 a.m. to 1 p.m. Monday to Friday, and I was going to night school 5 days a week and trying to lose weight and take care of myself. So I don't remember actually sleeping during those 3 years that I went to night school. I have a lot of education. Now these paralegal programs, depending on the program, could be 1 year, could be 4 years. So I went through that. Right when I got my license, I started my business. I said, this is what I'm doing. I'm not waiting. I started my business, took a leap of faith, jumped into my business. And then I realized that there was something missing. I didn't have the understanding of masterminding. I didn't have the understanding of organized planning and all these other elements that you should have in a business. And I had to learn as I went along, and there was temporary defeats, but I overcame those defeats. And now I'm at a place where I have a group of paralegals. I shouldn't say a group. There are a lot of paralegals that work with me and for me as partners. And I'm very blessed, because that means I can offer many, many services. I might not do them all, but my partners do. So how we help? Well, you've heard human rights is one of the areas of law. We also help small to medium-sized businesses with their collections and litigation in small claims court. We do bylaws, traffic tickets, criminal law, landlord and tenant for the landlord, real estate, we help real estate agents. So we do a lot of seminars for real estate agents. We actually educate different professions on their legal rights. So we'll go to their associations or their group, and we will actually hold seminars for them so that they can try to use some sort of self-help mechanism. And if they can't, then they come to us. But for the most part, it's really education. And then if you need us, representation. And there's a multitude of services, tort law. I could sit here talking about all of them. There's just so many. And I just want to mention that, a lot of people still don't know what paralegals do. And this is the biggest thing that I'm seeing is that people don't understand my role. They often think, oh, you're a lawyer. I'm not a lawyer. I am regulated by the same body, the Law Society of Ontario, as the lawyers are, but I am in a defined scope of practice and I can represent without the supervision of a lawyer. Whereas in other provinces and states, you have to be under the supervision and you might be a law clerk or a secretary. We are not that. We are litigators. We're in court almost every day when the court is open, and we can help you. So I always say to people, if you're unsure if you should come to us, call us and ask us, and then we'll let you know if we can help, because we are, our prices are different, our experiences are different. We may not be the right people. And the same thing goes with mediators, and we also provide mediation services. So you can come to us and ask us, and then we can say to you, yeah, that we may not be able to assist you, but we know that you could go to maybe through these 3 or 4 people, or the Law Society Referral Service has an extensive list of others that could help you.
Well, mediation is that's a great tool. And I've been in litigation myself twice. At both times I won my cases, but it's very stressful. And I do recommend that if people can mediate before you actually get to the litigation, because there is almost a bit of a game that goes on with that. But with that service, so with the mediation, you would mediate between, 2 parties before they would go to litigation, or would you mediate in a situation or any situation in family law? Do you do anything with family law?
Yeah, so I will talk about that. So there is the difference between being a third party mediator, and then there's the mediator, not a mediator, but negotiating on behalf of a client. So there's 2 streams. I happen to teach this course. I'm also a teacher of law, and one of the courses I happen to teach is alternative dispute resolution. So I am a huge believer in mediation. So we can mediate within scope, and there are some things we can mediate outside of scope, and family law is one. But I actually don't do that. I have a mediator that I use, actually a few mediators that I have that I would dip into and ask them for their assistance because they specialize in family law mediation. Okay. So if you're unsure if you should go to a lawyer or a mediator, when it has to do with family law, my advice is always to go to your mediator first and see if it's something they can resolve, because they're going to save you tons of money. And I have lawyers too for family law, and they're great, but you can spend tens of thousands of dollars. You could be going on. I heard somebody told me they had an issue for 10 years in family court. If you could deal with that within a year, why would you not go to a mediator? So I'm a huge believer on trying to negotiate before anything hits the court, even before the pleading is drafted, if it's possible. And I would highly suggest, always talk to your legal representative, your paralegal, your lawyer, or your mediator, and see if there is a way to try to mediate and save you tons of time and money. Like I can tell you, human rights, it could be 4 years that you're in that tribunal. Right now, the small claims is 3 years. It's very stressful to have that sitting over your shoulder. Yes. So yeah, mediation is huge. And there is a difference between negotiation, mediation, and arbitration, and I teach that. So if you're curious to know more about that, I'm happy to share at a different time, so that I'm not taking the whole interview teaching the course that I teach my students.
Yeah. So 2 more questions.
Sure.
One is, how many outlets would you like to have? Like, so how many offices would you like to have? Do you have a goal?
Yeah. So right now I have 3.
Okay.
One of them is a satellite office at the courthouse at 45 Shepherd with a family law lawyer. And I have one in Thornhill and one in Woodbridge, Ontario. I'd like to have one I should have a definite number. And I know that's very important to have definite numbers. Otherwise, I'm leaving it open. So I'm going to put a number out there right now. And I always go for the number 20. I don't know why. Wow. But let's just say if I could have one in every single major city. Like I want to have one in London, one in Burlington, one in Oakville, and Niagara Falls. I'd love to have one everywhere, and I'd love to be able to provide those opportunities to paralegals, because there is so much value in having a paralegal in your roster. Oh, that's okay.
Sorry.
Yeah, there's so much value in having a paralegal, but people, like I said, people still don't know what they do, and that's what I'm here to do, is to educate you so that you understand that you have the ability to use a paralegal, and then if not, go to a lawyer. So yeah, let's put the number 20 out there. It's out in the universe. You guys have heard it here first, and my partners who are listening to this, 20 guys, we're gonna do it. 20 offices.
Yeah.
Let's see if we can get there.
I'm behind you on this. I'm really behind. I think this is fab. I can see it. I can see the 20 outlets. And the thing is that your why is so large that the how is just going to show up. And that's not my saying. I learned that from Tony Harris Taylor. And I'm sure she learned it from somewhere else. So that's fabulous. So just one last question.
Sure.
How can we find you? So the like outside just the one-on-one service that you offer, you're a person to stay in touch with, to come to these learning sessions that you have. I don't think that we can learn enough today. And you're the woman that I would want to learn to, because your education, you're always educating yourself, and you are educating others. And you're doing that wholeheartedly from your heart. So I support you, and I'd like to follow you, and I encourage many people to follow you, because knowledge is power. And you're one of these people. So you can share for us, and we can also type it below in the comments so people can read afterwards.
Definitely. So I can be found at my website, which is sfg.legal, or on social media, LinkedIn, Samantha Glass Paralegal, or Facebook, Samantha Glass. You may see me if you are in Milton or surrounding area. You might see my show called Get Legal, which is a legal talk show that is out as a TV Kojako that I've been doing for 4 years. And I'm actually planning to take that show and spread it into other regions and call it different things, because it's very important. Like you said, education is power, and providing that education to people so that they don't make the mistakes and get themselves deeper into a hole is very important for me. It's very important. And that's what we're lacking in Ontario, is that we have these legal systems that are very, very hard to navigate. And if we just have someone that would educate more, then we might be, we'll be more informed so that we could protect ourselves. So look for me on social media, look for me at Get Legal. And if you want to reach out to me, you can email me. That's sglass@sfglegal.ca. I will type it in the comment sections for everybody. And yeah, I'm happy to always, you have a question, just reach out to me. I'm happy to share, talk about things. I love the law. Like yesterday, I was saying to 2 of my partners, I absolutely love the law. I love teaching it. I love talking about it. And then I love intertwining it with other things that I'm doing. Like when I talk about personal development, personal growth, and mindset, I find a way to always share my story, because, facts tell, stories sell. And at the end of the day, if I can sell you on my story and I've inspired you, then at the end of the day, that might have made a difference in your life. And you'll be like, oh, Samantha, I remember that you faced temporary defeat, but you didn't give up. And now 10 years later, look at where you are. So I hope I've been able to do that for everybody today, and always happy to connect with everybody. I really am. And I love people. I love people, and I love learning about what you do, your business, and even about you. I want to know about you as people, not just your business, because it's important to build relationships and with like-minded people. And I have to tell you, I'm very inspired by you
Awesome.
because you fly, and you are an amazing businesswoman, and you inspire me. So I just wanted to put that out there as well. But I'm so blessed to be here with you today doing this interview.
Thank you so much. I'm blessed just to have been able to meet you this way and support you and promote you in any way that I can. And I'm going to stick to you and continue doing this for you, because I want to see those 20 stores. And the group of women, there's thousands of us that are all chatting to each other. And at some point in time, the truth of the matter is that we are going to need some legal advice, and you're a great place to start with a wealth of knowledge. So thank you so much for joining us here today, and we'll see you again soon.
Thank you so much. Thanks everybody, and thank you for having me.
Thanks a lot. We'll talk to you again. Bye-bye.
Bye.